Hello and welcome to AUCTV. This is Malak Mashour, and today I'll be presenting this week's news bulletin in addition to a short interview. The stories that will be covered are the following: Izzat Abu Auf's Memorial Night, AUC Alumni's event for seniors, the SU's Quidditch tournament, University Sectors tournament, AUC Venture Lab event, Bridgestone's Fit and Fix on campus, and MCA's audio editing workshop. On Sunday, the 13th of October, CSTA Club of the American University in Cairo came together to throw a memorial night for the amazing and talented Izzat Abu Auf, who passed away earlier this year in July. The event started off with three of her fellow colleagues, Dunya Ghazi, Mohammed Al-Nagor, and Abdurrahman Rizq, introducing the event. Then on top of the guest speaker list, the first one was Dr. Mirvat Abu Auf, Izzat Abu Auf's sister. She spoke about how her dear brother and how he influenced her life. Following Dr. Mirvat's speech, the amazing Shireen Rida, a fellow friend of Izzat, came on stage to introduce each guest speaker, such as Tamer Hosni, Abu, Layla Alwi, and Mohammed Fouad. They all talked about how Mr. Izzat Abu Auf affected their lives and how they will never find someone to fill this place to them. After that, Dr. Mirvat and her sisters came on stage to have a small discussion to end the memorial.
Bitter and sweet, sweet more than bitter. The preparation was very hard. Every single step brought a tear to my eyes. I gave them very hard time, they were very apologetic.
For more than 30 years, we all saw and witnessed the greatness of Izzat Abu Auf. So a big thank you to CSTA for acknowledging such an inspirational character. A lot of seniors are going through one of the most stressful times of the semester. As they're preparing to go into the real world, the AUC Alumni Department organized an event for them to slow down and de-stress. Sponsored by Nestle and Red Bull, the event's main goal was for seniors and their friends to bring out their inner child energy one last time before graduating. In doing so, the event had 4 different types of inflatables: ice cream, cold drinks, and music. Research shows that being given the chance to embrace and reparent your inner child gives you a supply of enthusiasm and helps you grow.
Senior CMA major with minor writing. I love this event because it helps you to let it all out, the stress of the midterms with all of the courses, especially that I'm overloading. So I like the idea behind this event, and it's very new, and I like that it encourages us to let out our inner child.
Students were also encouraged to sign up to a senior gala dinner. Its main is for students to make the most out of their senior year. Childhood is a time that most people tend to remember fondly, which is why a reconnection with their past selves was very much helpful before the end of life as they know it. Last week, AUC Student Union held a real-life tournament version of the famous Harry Potter game Quidditch. The tournament was held in the AUC Gardens and went on from October 14th to October 17th. Students competed in teams of 5. They first played friendly matches, which quickly turned competitive. The tension was high at the end of the tournament, since the final 2 teams were competing for a 5,000 LE prize.
My name is Lama Adham. I'm Chief Art Director in Student Union. So I help mainly designing the Quidditch game, from the entrance to the marketing campaign that they did, everything from the field, the sizes, how would they fit the designs in the gardens area and everything. And actually I loved the turnout. It was amazing. It was a huge success. We even got more than we hoped.
The event included other activities for students who wanted to be part of the fun without competing. Last Sunday marked the beginning of the qualification round for the 5th sector tournament held at AUC. Students from different universities compete in 4 different sports: futsal, football, volleyball, and basketball. Many Egyptian universities participate in the tournament, including BUE, MIU, FUE, and GUC. This tournament is held as a way to encourage and motivate athletic students. Matches are held for both female and male students.
For this semester's sectors tournament, we've been winning this tournament for the past 5 years. We're very excited that the university hosts this tournament every single year here at AUC. It's much easier for us not to miss classes and for us to be in our own field.
Not only does it prepare students to deal with different opponents from different districts, but it also creates a fun environment for students to compete and cheer on each other. AUC has always made sure to connect between students from different universities, and this is one of its biggest tournaments held every year in order to do so. AUC Venture Lab launched Expo startup booths on the 16th and 17th of October, which took place in the Bartlett Plaza. They're inviting students, faculty, and staff members to learn about the latest business ideas in today's entrepreneurial scene. AUC Venture Lab is aiming to discover startups in e-commerce, healthcare, energy, environmental sustainability, creative industries, and more.
I'm Noor Ibrahim from the AUC Venture Lab Marketing and Communications team. What we have here today is the AUC Venture Lab Expo. Expo is a chance for our startups to meet the members of the AUC community, whether they're staff, faculty, or students, and to showcase their work in front of the community and to take insights and feedback to affect their business.
One of the services they offered in the booth was free ice cream from Cold Stone to attract students and help them refresh. The Venture Lab also offered a prize draw for the students to win AirPods, JBL speakers, power banks, or FIFA 20 while meeting the entrepreneurs. Since 2013, AUC Venture Lab has accelerated more than 150 innovation startups, empowering founders with strong business and supportive networks. Fit and Fix, a premium tire service center and a retailer, was available at AUC's New Cairo campus from the 13th of October until the 17th of October. The service van was available for students, faculty, and parents in front of the entrance of Gate 4, Pepsi Gate. Their service van offers numerous equipped services such as precision mounting, proper tire balancing, tire repair, oil change, and more. AUCians inquired about Fit and Fix's various tire services as they were curious about the tire prices as well as what fits their car best.
My name is Ahmed. I'm manager in Fit and Fix. We are here from 5 days ago because we offer our service. Here you have many students and they have all they have cars and they need our service here to do it for them. We have showroom near from here in Sain Street. We make like offer and we have voucher. They give it free for the student to come to our showroom to do our.
An AUC student used Fit and Fix's convenient services in order to resolve his car's technical issues while on campus. Fit and Fix's service van was surely helpful to students, faculty, and staff, as well as outcomers, as it provided a quick and easy service at their convenience. The Mass Communication Association is hosting their first workshop for JRMC students on Monday, October the 21st. This week's editing workshop focuses on Adobe Audition by Mohammed Badawi, JRMC studio technician. The MCA directors met and brainstormed ideas on what JRMC students would most likely benefit from. Posts on the MCA Instagram and Facebook pages have advertised and invited all JRMC students to come attend this free workshop.
It was amazing actually that we conducted a workshop like this. It was so beneficial for the Mass Comm students. I'm looking inshallah for more upcoming workshops similar to that.
The MCA promises more workshops to come in the near future. This was all for today's news bulletin. This was your host Malak Mashour. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for our interview segment. 46 years have passed since the 6th of October War. So since we're in the month of October and we just celebrated the 6th of October victory, let's reminisce about Egypt's accomplishments winning back Sinai. With us today is Mr. Salim Tobgi, CEO and Chairman of Contrade Construction Engineer Company, as well as neighbor of the General Ahmed al-Gawahirgi, may his soul rest in peace. Ahmed al-Gawahirgi was one of the 2 pilots who flew over the occupied and aka Sinai. Before we start, I'd like to show you a mini memorial video of General Gawahirgi. Hello and welcome.
Thank you for hosting me to your program.
No problem. Thank you for coming. Okay, I would like to ask you the first question. So how old were you when the war broke free back in 1973?
I was 9 years old.
9 years old, so you knew everything, you understood what was happening.
I understand that.
Yeah, okay, so can you speak to us about the day when you found out about the war?
It was in Ramadan and it was, I believe, in the midday, 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. And at that time, we used to, all families listen to the radio.
Yeah.
And the famous channel was Miss program, and they announced the first announcement that the war started and the army crossed Suez Canal, which was one of the miracle that to pass or cross the Suez Canal at that time.
Yeah. Okay, and can you tell us more about General Ahmed al-Gawahirgi's routine at the time? As I know they've been practicing for like around 6 months before.
Yes, much more than 6 months. They used to try to fly over the Suez Canal with 2 aircraft, each one carrying hundreds of tons of explosives, and then the difficult or the one of the main constraint was that the maximum speed they would fly with is 450 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
So they used to fly until they reached the Suez Canal, and then the other party, the Israeli part, their air defense start to get ready. They go back to their base.
Okay.
They started to doing that for almost 6 to 9 months. Each time they fly, the other party in Israel, they start to get ready and then they fly back.
Okay, that's really nice. Okay, and you haven't seen him around the neighborhood at all during
Usually
the time?
he comes at night and he leaves early in the morning.
Okay, so he used to see his family every day?
Sure, yes, his family was, he was my neighbor in my childhood time, and also he was my neighbor when I married and I moved.
Wow. Okay, and is there, can you tell us the story General Ahmed al-Gawahirgi shared with you before his passing?
Let me tell you how his experience, it's very touching story that he, on the 5th of October, he went they did this program or this trial, and then they came back to their air base, and they they gave them a release to go home. Yeah. So he went home around 6 o'clock at night, and he stayed with his family, his wife and 2 girls. Something was strange at that day. The door rang at 1 o'clock a.m. and he found one of the military soldiers giving him a closed message. So he opened it. He said, "You are required to come to the air base now." Okay. And then they went there. He met at that time President Hosni Mubarak. He was the boss of the aviation or the Air Force, he stayed with him and his colleague and gave him instruction. I believe at 1:30 he went to his place in the airplane, and he instructed his co-pilot to unpin the safety pins.
Okay.
And then they started their trip to cross Suez Canal. What is very touching that they are flying according to the orders of the control room that was controlling the whole mission.
Yeah.
And they had to fly on a very low height to avoid the raiders' area.
Okay.
Until they crossed Suez Canal, and the Israel soldiers was gambling at what time will they go back to their base as they used to do many months ago. And then the nice thing that they never went back. The orders was to continue flying until they reached the control room of Israel in Arish and in Sinai, and then they got orders to fly high. You know, some calculations they need to with the speed and the height to hit the target, and they hit the target with the 4 rockets. And that at that moment they got the order to raise their height and then come back to their base, and they found underneath them around 270 airplanes entering Israel to hit the air bases for them.
Okay.
And
amazing.
they were instructed to land wherever it is applicable or available for you to land,
Yeah.
because they have another mission to do.
Okay. Amazing. So, if we could turn back time, is there anything you think you could have changed about anything they have done at the time?
No, I don't think that something can be changed. But I want to tell you something that when the door rang, and it's very interesting, this issue, and he took the order to go to his base. So he went, he took a shower, he prayed. He brought out of the cupboard, he used to preserve a brand new undershirt, underwear, and overall. And then he wore them, and then he prayed. So I asked him very innocently, why did you do this, and why was it the new? He told me, no, this is my how do you say it, you know, it's like my, not coffin, but I'm ready to jeopardize my life.
For his country?
Yes, for his country.
That's
so I told him, were you afraid? He said, how come? Don't mention it. I was living for that moment.
Yeah.
That's it.
So it's extremely touching, honestly.
Yes.
Okay, and so since you're a construction engineer, can you tell me how difficult must it be flying across borders with 2 heavy bombs at such a speed?
It is very difficult to believe and to have this faith in his boss that he's going to fly at that height with this speed, because 400 kilometers per hour in the aviation, it is a very long period.
Of course. That
he's 15 minutes notified on the radar.
Yeah.
15 minutes is too long. And this also, it needs a lot of training and perfection to fly with this heavy weight on a very low level.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And do you think it requires skill, or is it pure coincidence? Like,
no, it requires skills. It requires faith, because at that time in 1973, the strategic calculation for war that was 3 to Israel, 1 to Egypt, but they depended upon the faith and how they believe they want to get back their land.
Okay. And you said that Egypt cut ties with its one and only resource to war equipment, Russia?
Yes, it was one of the tricks that President Sadat did, that he cut everything, the relationship with Russia that was supporting us military-wise, and he also informed and announced in the newspaper that there is a Umrah trip for the biggest 200 generals in the army, and that gave impression that there is no war.
Yeah, and do you think that was smart to do?
It was smart.
Definitely,
It was smart.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Tobgi. It was very nice having you. That concludes today's interview segment with Mr. Salim Tobgi, talking on behalf of his brave and heroic neighbor, General Ahmed Gawahirki, may his soul rest in peace, enlightening us on what was actually happening back in October 6th, 1973. I'm your anchor, Malak Mashwoor. Join us next week for our next show. Thank you for watching.